put it into the Runlinc. So this is the button. We'll click the button. By the way, also we can put BR, which what that does is it puts a space between the writing and the buttons. Okay, that's a break. So if we then press the stop code and run code, we can see that we have a lamp on button there as well. Okay, lamp on. All right. And we need to then have a lamp off button. So copy your button and paste the button on the next line, and we will create lamp off, lamp on, lamp off. Okay, so we would have two buttons there. This is a normal HTML button, so we click and we can see lamp on, lamp off.
All right.
Okay, but where does it show? Because like we said, we don't have a kit. So what we're going to do is also add a picture. So we'll put in a break, and then just like with one line of code to put it in the camera, we can actually use the just one line of code to put in a picture. The picture can be even from the internet, which in this case it is, because on our website we have a picture, so we can use that picture and link it into your page. Also, you can use the same process to connect to any picture on the internet onto your web page. Okay, so let me show you what that line of code looks like just for the image. Okay, so we have a space, and this is the line of code for the image. And we see here that what we're doing is we're using the image command, IMG command, and we have an ID, which we're using IMG as the ID. We're using an ID because we also want to change the image inside the code. We have the SRC, the source, and this is where the image actually link is. So the HTTP Runlinc online, this is the image link. So if you want a different image, then you would use the link for a different image, but we're using the lamp off picture image which we have on our page. So I will copy this and then add it also to the page. But remember that you can, it's very easy to change this for your own use. Okay, let's put in another break so that we have a space, and we will add the image. Okay, you might think this box is full, we can't put any more HTML, but actually you can extend the box. Okay, on the side we can also extend the box, and we can see and add more if we wish. Also, the box does scroll up as well for these boxes.
Myro, what's the mean by H1?
Okay, H1 is, H is a heading and 1 is large. Okay, so this is a heading. So also we're using that heading for the script on the lamp, so that when we run the code, then we have a large text on our buttons. So they become very, very big buttons. So today we're making very big buttons. If you use H2, then it will be smaller as well. There will be smaller buttons.
The coding for the text, right?
Yes, that's right. So for example, if I changed the
H2.
lamp on to H2, then there will be smaller buttons. Okay.
How many H we have? 1, 2, 3, 4?
I think there's about 6 from memory. So stop code, run code, you will see that the text will be smaller. Lamp on, lamp off. Okay.
The size of the font.
That's right. But also there are other ways of changing the font, but the H is one way of changing the size of the font easily. And you see this is our image that we have added under here of a kit with a lamp which is off. So this is a picture we can add. What we will do is we're going to switch pictures. So what we want to do is when we press the lamp on, we want it to be a picture of the lamp being on. And when we press the lamp off, a picture of the lamp being off in this case. How do we do that? Well, we need to have some control of the web page, and we use the JavaScript for the code. So let's go back and see what that JavaScript looks like. So what we are doing with those buttons is we have a lamp on and a lamp off function, but we have not defined what that is. So let's scroll down and you will see there's a description here in the text about the H1 and the breaks. Also the buttons, we talked about the size of the buttons, but we can also, we changed the size of the text with the H1. The H1 is for the text inside the buttons, but sometimes we want to change the size of the button itself. So in the CSS box, we can change the sizes of various parts of the HTML. So this code here will actually change the size of the button itself, the outside of the button. So where does this go? This is what CSS is for. We can change the graphics, the look of the page. So this part goes into the CSS box, which is up here. Okay, like that. Maybe I'll just expand this so people can see it. Okay, so over here you can see it's the CSS box. If we press stop and then run code, then you see that the buttons are larger and we can change the size of the text separately inside the button. Okay, in fact, even in here we can, there's a height, there's a width, but we can also add other parameters, even such as color. So we could even have a color of the button as well. Where do we find information on what we can add? Well, we can actually look up on the CSS and the HTML functions in the W3 schools. And we did tell you about the W3 school website last time.
Yes.
Okay, so what we need is these functions when we click. When we click the lamp on, we want it to change the picture to an on picture and lamp off picture. So these are functions that we need to add to the JavaScript. The JavaScript is the code. So let's take a look at those functions. How do we make and form functions? So let's go down, and the JavaScript function looks like this. So this is the function. So the lamp on function, which will have a button, and it's simply called function at the beginning. And then we have the curly brackets, and inside the bracket we have what the function will do. In this case, it will change the image by using the ID IMG. Okay, remember we put the ID in there, IMG. So we'll take that and it will change it to this link. This is a different one because remember the other one was the lamp off. So this picture is the lamp on. Okay, and similarly we have the other function which is the lamp off. When we click it, then it will change it back to lamp off picture. Okay, using the IMG. So if we use a different ID, we can have more than one picture, and of course we can also have more buttons also. So let's put the functions into the JavaScript box. Okay, I'm moving fairly quickly today because we will also have a second step today. We will be doing more on the HTML. In fact, we will be putting in some circles to the pictures. So let's stop that and JavaScript, and we need to put it into the JavaScript. Okay. The JavaScript is where the code is. So we have two functions here. Okay, function lamp on. Okay, which changes the image to this one. Lamp off changes to that one. Okay, we run the code. When we run the code, we have the image as before, but now when we press it, then it will do the function. So when we press the lamp on, then you see that the picture actually will change with the lamp on. And when we have the lamp off, picture changes to the lamp off. This is very similar to if you have a kit, because you can also connect also this lamp. You see the lamp and the wire, and it connects to a port here, C4. So if we activate C4 to be digital out, then we can directly just activate on and off the C4, which will actually activate a real lamp if you have this kit, the stem cell kit. Okay, so that is changing a picture. Okay, picture on, picture off, lamp on, lamp off.
Myro, why can't we put the same thing in HTML only? Why we must use JavaScript?
We must use JavaScript because the JavaScript is needed for the function. Okay. Sometimes everything is together, the CSS, the HTML, and the JavaScript is in one file because they use the script tags and things like that. But it's much easier with the Runlinc because you can see the various parts of what you are doing, because the CSS function and the HTML and the JavaScript are quite different. Okay. So you can find these more easily in the Runlinc by doing it that way too.
You mean that every button that we want to create or any button function, we must use HTML?
So if we want to put the HTML buttons, yes, we put it into HTML. Okay. And if we want a function on that button, then it needs to use JavaScript. Refer to a function, which is JavaScript.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Understand.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do next, we'll just share in the document. So now we have the two functions. We can change the images. You also know how to add a picture, and we can also change the picture as well by reference. So many things that we've just done. We've done this reference, IMG reference. We've done functions inside the JavaScript, and we've also been able to change the web page. Okay, so the IMG is the ID, identification. And remember that we need to insert the code between the curly brackets. There's actually curly brackets there. So this was our complete code, final code that we did. Okay, so it's in the document. So what I want to do now is go through this challenge part. Okay, so what this does is we want to change it so that this web page where we have the buttons, actually, instead of having a picture, we draw some shapes. So now we're also adding more to the maths part of the STEM, okay, that we're teaching, because the shapes actually also involve some mathematical drawing, okay, so similar to graphing. And we can do that inside the HTML. And what we'll do is we'll use the JavaScript. Instead of changing that picture or the shape, we're going to change the color of the shape. So what we want to do is create a circle, and we will change the color in the circle so that the circle will be bright, as in when it's on, and it will become dull when it's off. So become from gray to yellow. So we'll replace the image, and we will use this tag here, which is called SVG. So this is graphics that we can add to the HTML web page. SVG, we can add shapes and graphics to the page, okay, using SVG. So let's take the SVG, and in this case we have a circle, okay. So here's the start of the SVG, the end of the SVG, and what we are adding in the SVG is a circle. We're going to use an ID again, so that we can use a JavaScript to change part of the circle. We have a position of the circle, and it is an X and Y position, X and Y on the graph. The X position is 175, the Y position is 75. The R is the radius, how large the circle is. So this number 50 has a radius of 50.
Is it a 50 millimeter?
It is 50 pixels. They actually have pixels in there. Okay. So then the fill, with what is the color inside this circle, is light gray. We can actually use the name light gray, and on the S3 schools, you can see there are a listing of many different colors, even colors called tomato, and there's actually a real color as well. And there's the normal colors, yellow, red, blue, green, etc., and gray, in this case light gray. And also the stroke. The stroke is the line which is around the circle. So the stroke will be black. And the stroke width, how wide the line is around the circle, is 5 pixels, 5 px. Okay, so that defines the circle that we want to build. So let's put in that instead of the image. So we'll copy that and put it into our web page. Okay, so this is our web page at the moment. So we'll stop the code, and we change this part here, which was our image on the page, and we want to add the circle instead. So we would paste it here, and we would have, instead of the image, we would have the SVG circle. Okay, so now if I run the code, and it says that it was filled with gray, so I run the code, and we go down, and you see that there is a gray circle now replacing the image with the black stroke around the circle. Okay, light gray circle. And before people ask, we can have different shapes. Yes, in fact, in the SVG, we can also have squares, and we can have triangles, and we can also have the rectangles, and so we can also have different shapes in there as well. Okay, so then of course we need to change the JavaScript, because we need to use this ID, which is the ID in this case is the lamp ID, and we need to change then the function to change the color. So let's see how we do that. Okay, and also once you have this working yourself, please change the size of the circles, change the color of the circles, go to W3 Schools, try some different colors. You can even try some different pictures, you know, instead of the other pictures. Try the on-off so that you get some practice on what you can put on your web page. So this will become the function. So the lamp on function then will change the ID and change the style, which is the fill, and it will change it to yellow. So this will be the lamp on. So let's then copy that, and we will go back to the page. So here we have the lamp on, and instead of the image, we would change this part. We still need the function lamp on, but with this time we want to paste and change the function so that this lamp ID, we change the style of the fill. So instead of the light gray, it would be equal to yellow. Okay, what about the off though? What about the off? Well, we also need to change the off. In the document, it doesn't tell us how to do that. This is a challenge. So what would we do? Well, we need to change it so that when we click the off, then it will need to go back to the light gray. So let's paste the yellow in there, but instead we would fill it with light gray. So we need to change it back to the light gray. Over here. So when it's off, it goes back to the light gray like that. Okay. Let's try it. Okay, let's try it. Run code and see if our code works. So we have a lamp on now, and let's see if we've changed the function. So press lamp on, it becomes bright yellow. Lamp off goes back to light gray. What do you think? What do you think would happen if we actually put in just gray instead of light gray? Gray is a color. Okay, and we can try it. So I'm going to take out the light gray, press run, see what that looks like. Okay, now you can see it's a dark gray, it's not a light gray.
Right.
Okay, but we can still press lamp, it becomes yellow, and the lamp off goes back to the gray color. Okay, other colors are also possible too. All right, so this shows that we can use the buttons. We can use the buttons to change many things. We can activate functions, and also we can activate the actual kit. So what I'm going to do now, actually before I go to the next section, what I will do after the questions is I will also show you how I can change this to activate my kits with this page as well, because I actually have a physical kit with a lamp, and it can be also connected using the buttons as well. So the lamp on, lamp off will actually turn on and off my real kit. I'll use my phone camera for that. But before I do that, I'll just see if anybody has any questions on what we have done at the moment. Anybody have any questions?
Means that Myro, we can develop as many as button in the page, right? How many button we can create?
You can fill the page with buttons, and the buttons don't have to be the same size.
Okay.
In the CSS, we've actually defined the size of the button. Okay, but you can also put the size of the button inside the button itself as well.
Okay.
And the buttons can be also in different positions as well, because you can use the BR, and so you can have one button, then use the break, have a button underneath, or you can have two buttons and then have a break and then have the next two buttons, so you can actually position your buttons as well. Yeah, so you can put many buttons and they can have whatever name you wish to put onto the button. And also, of course, colors, so that the buttons then will look different. Well, that's a good question.
If we use with a kit, Runlinc kit, what is actually we have to connect it from the HTML coding to the kit? Which part of the kit to see?
All right, then. So you're keen to see that. So what we need to do. So I'll change the code first, and then I'll change over to my phone camera. So let me share the code. So go back to my code. On my first of all, at the moment, this Runlinc page is not connected to my kit. Okay, because it's just the online Runlinc. But my kit on my computer actually is connected, is turned on at the moment, the Wi-Fi kit, and it has a number which I can put in here, the board IP. And if I simply type in the board IP instead of the online Runlinc 192.168.1.
You mean each kit have a different IP number? Each kit.
So the first three numbers are actually the network that the Wi-Fi is connected to, and the last number is the number on the top of the chip. So I'll show you the chip in a minute after I share the page. But if I type in there like that, the number 98, then it will connect to chip 98 on my network. Okay, and I will need to change this. Instead of going to the function, I needed to change also to the lamp, where the lamp is connected. So my lamp is connected to a blue wire on the kit. So at this stage, what I might do is actually show you the kit so you can see where the lamp connection is, and then it will make more sense here when I show you the ports. Okay, so let me just stop share, and I want to use my phone camera for this, so I'm just quickly going to connect to this Zoom using the my phone camera, and I can do that quite
We have to turn on the kit first, right?
Yes, the kit is on, but I want to show you with my phone camera because it's easier doing it that way. So just connecting into this Zoom. Okay, so I'm just going to change over now. Okay, so can everyone hear me?
Yes.
We'll get rid of that echo. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, excellent. All right, I can now use my phone camera and turn around the camera, use the other side of the camera. And on my table here is the kit, which I'm connecting to. You see that there is a number on the top, 98. Okay, I'm using the power. So it's powered, it's turned on. So that's connected into my network. Okay, how do I connect to my lamp? I actually have a wire, so it's connected to C4, and the C4 wire is connected to a relay box, which actually is a switch to a lamp on my table. Okay, also in the kit is a smaller lamp as well, so the smaller lamp can just connect in directly into the kit. This controller has drivers, so we can actually drive a real lamp like you saw in the picture, or it can even drive a small motor, okay, as well. So it already has that built in. So how do I connect to this wire? It's C4, so we need to connect to that on the Runlinc. So we'll go back to the Runlinc. Okay, I'll share the Runlinc again.
That is the I/O port, right, Myro?
Yes, that is the port number. So I'll share the Runlinc, and you see on the Runlinc that there says port, and you go down to C4, and this then can be digital out. And when it's digital out, then you get a status, which means that the signal at the moment is off. And in fact, I can also test the signal with that button as well. I can test the signal. But let's create our own button, and we very, very simply do that by giving a name for this C4 port, which of course is simply called lamp. Okay, and so the Runlinc has a function to connect in to the ports. That function, which I'll change the button. So instead of using the lamp on, which is this function here, what I need to do is put in a function which is for this lamp over here. And that special function already built in is simply called turn on. Okay, and inside the function, I need to put in the word lamp, like this. So this means that I do not need this function on, and in fact, I will not need the function off either. So I can actually delete the JavaScript in this case. So we don't need to have the JavaScript. And of course, we're not changing the circle. All right, so we simply on the click, and we can use the turn on function, and that will go here instead of going to the JavaScript. And similarly for the turn off. So capital O, FF, and this is the special function that will turn on and off the port. And we need to make sure that the name here, lamp, is the same here, and the upper and lowercase here also do match. Okay, so that's basically it. That's all I need to do. So now if I press the run code, okay, and if you can still see my picture, then if I press run code, go down here and press the lamp on button. It's not plugged in. I better plug in my lamp. Okay. Lamp also needs power on the relay box. Okay, so did the button actually turn it on, or was it my plug? Well, let's click on the lamp off button, and it turned off. You see that as soon as I clicked it, and I'll click the lamp on again. Turns on and turns off. Okay, so the blue wire is a magnetic switch, which actually then has to go to power and it connects the power to the lamp. Okay, so you can see that there are 2 lines of code to actually control the lamp is truly 2 lines of code, because in fact, even if I do this, if I delete all of the other code, let's even delete this code just to see if it's really 2 lines of code. Press stop code, run code. And we still have 2 buttons here, lamp on, lamp off. Okay, just with these 2 lines of code. And if I press the lamp on, on the lamp, turns off the lamp.
It's the same function.
Okay. So we only need the 2 lines of code to actually connect in to the port. Okay, the other code was so that we could change the circles and we could change the pictures. Okay. What about the alarm? Okay, what about the alarm? Well, I have here a buzzer, and the buzzer is on C5. So guess how we would activate the buzzer? Similar to the lamp. So we go to digital out, we type in buzzer, and we simply change, instead of lamp, we would change it to buzzer, so that we have the alarm. Make sure it matches. We stop the code, run code again, and when we press the button, oh, it still says lamp. Okay.
Okay,
let's try it anyway.
Okay.
It actually did the buzzer.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not very good though. Why does it say lamp? So I'm going to change this, instead of lamp, let's create alarm button. So it says alarm on and alarm off. Okay. So we can change the text to anything, stop code, run code. And suddenly we have 2 alarm buttons.
Yeah.
Alarm on, very loud, alarm off. Okay, also notice on the web page on my shared screen, when I press alarm on, the status actually changes. So you can see it on the web page.
Yeah.
Alarm off. So you can see it goes from green to red on there as well. Okay. All right. So there we are.
Okay. You mean
so
the port
we truly have covered many things today.
Yeah.
So I'll change back to the other screen from my phone, and we'll see if there's any questions, any more questions that have come up, even about connecting to the kit. Okay, so any more questions? Any questions, anyone?
Prof, there is one question from the participant.
Yes.
Activate both a lamp and buzzer.
Okay. Sure. Activate both the lamp and the buzzer. We just discussed before that we can have more buttons. So actually very fast to do that. Let me show you on the share. So of course, if we have buzzer on off, we also need lamp on and off as well. So how would we do that? Very quickly.
Copy. Copy the script.
Why not? Okay. So we can simply put 2 more buttons. But remember, we want maybe the buttons to be underneath. So maybe we'll use
BR. All right.
Okay, lowercase br, just to separate the buttons.
Okay.
Let's put it in a gap between the buttons. And which ones will be the lamp? Maybe the lamp will be at the top. Okay, so we need lamp. And then we would have lamp on and lamp off again as well. Right, so when I press the stop code and the run code again, then we have lamp on off, and we also have alarm on off on the same page. And of course, we can also put the heading there as well. And do they work? Well,
Yeah.
I'm disconnected from my phone, but of course, if I press the alarm on, you can hear. See, alarm on, alarm off. And if I press the lamp on, I'm going to actually move the lamp and put it onto my face. If you can see my face, lamp on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Quite bright.
lamp off. Okay. So if I stop the share, is that quite bright? Let me try it again. Lamp on, lamp off.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there you are. I've fully answered that question. Not only say yes, but how to do it as well. Any other questions?
Good explanation, Prof. There is one more. How to put the buttons side by side? Now it's upside and down, is it? They are asking how to put side by side.
Okay, so you want all the buttons to be side by side, like lamp on, lamp off?
In series.
Okay.
In series.
The reason that it's pushed down is actually just because of the BR. So if I share it again, then it becomes apparent that if I went up and just removed the BR, then the buttons will actually also be side by side. By the way, we can, in the code, we can actually add a gap just so that it's easier to read, and that doesn't make a difference to the code. But if I press stop code, run code, again, you can see that all the buttons are side by side. What we did is we put in the BR so that this would push the buttons down,
Downward.
so we can push the buttons down. Yeah. Okay. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah. That's the trick.
Not hard. Okay, when you know how. Yeah. So the BR is simply to push. BR actually can push text to the next line, or it can also push buttons to the next line as well. Okay. Any other questions?
What's the, Myro, what's the meaning of the port? I mean, A is what, B is what, C, and GP is it ground or what?
The meaning of which one? Sorry.
A. The first port, A, B, and C. C is what? Because I saw the capabilities of Runlinc is you can change the port either as an input or output.
Yes. So the input means that there is signal going into the port. Okay, and the output means that it is a signal going out. So an output means that the controller is controlling the output, such as the lamp. So today we showed the lamp and the buzzer. That's an output because the controller is controlling either on or off on the port signal going out. But if we have a sensor, then the sensor will actually send the data in. So that becomes the input instead of an output.
Okay. Or maybe we can have also the manual button, right, as an input.
Yes, that is also an input because when we press the button, the signal goes in. So it is a signal. When we press the button, that's called a digital in because it is on off going in. But if we have a signal like a voltage going up and down, that's called an analog in because it can be a voltage, more information. It can be a level going in.
Can we connect two kits, Myro, to have a more input and output? I don't know. Is it possible?
It is possible, okay, and also it's even possible to communicate between one kit and the other, so we can actually have one kit activate another as well. So we have had, and those kits do not need to be connected with wires. They can also be in different locations, because remember, the kits are on Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi can be a different place.
Okay. So very interesting.
Okay, any more questions?
I think we have quite advanced for tonight.
We did a lot tonight. I said that we're going to cover a lot tonight, but all of these things are actually quite fun to try and practice. Like today, I changed colors. You can try some more fun colors. Try red and green and purple and pink and other colors as well, and have a look. Even to try to change the color of your buttons, and you can even change the color of the text, like the headings as well. And you can change the positions. Try changing the positions too of your buttons. So the HTML is a display, so you can be creative on your display. Okay, so it becomes a display. That display, being a web page, can be opened on a phone, tablet, laptop, anything as well. Any other questions?
Now we know how to run the Runlinc online and with a kit.
Yes, so you know how the buttons work with the kit, and also how the buttons work also even online, either with a shape or with a picture. So you learned about shapes, you learned about pictures,
change the color.
So many things.
Yes.
Last week everybody was amazed with one camera, but today we added many things to the web page.
That is true. 2 lines of code.
And it's true, 2 lines of code. I took out all of the rest of the code, so there was only 2 lines of code there. Yeah, that's true. And by the way, later on a project, I think it's number 6, project 6, we will be using also buttons to go to the JavaScript and activate a voice. So we'll be doing some artificial intelligence and AI, and then the text we put in there, it can actually speak. So you can create a button so that it can tell a story. So one button can tell a story or a description, and the next button can also tell a story and a description. So we'll be returning to the buttons also later. Okay, any more questions?
Usually dekat YouTube ada tak apa-apa soalan?
Oh no, I tak tengok.
Okay, so otherwise, I will also just say that next week we will be using some more shapes, but what we will be doing is we will be doing sequences. So how in the JavaScript you can turn something on and then have like a time delay, and then turn on the next thing and turn on the next thing. So a good example is traffic lights. So we're going to see how we can do this. For example, having a traffic light display on the web page, actually have it changing.
You mean we can have a connection between the button?
Yeah. No, we can actually put in there some code so that the web page can change the colors without pressing buttons. So we can just automatically have a time and say this one can stay on, and then after 5 seconds, then the next one.
Oh, you mean we can add a counter there?
We'll have a time counter there, so we can actually add that next week. Yeah.
More and more lesson to be learned.
That's right. Okay.
Prof, there are a few questions. Okay. Is it possible to use image or animated GIF to replace the buttons to turn on or turn on and off? To turn on and off.
Yes. There is actually in the button there is an option instead of having the text, we could also put in the button space, we could also put in an image in there as well. So that is an option, and you can try that as well. So where I had lamp on in that text, you can insert an image. Okay, it can be a small image or it can be a big image. So when you click on the image, then it will take some action. Good question. Good question.
We can try on that. The next one is why different port have different configuration. For example, port A3 only have disable and digital in, but in port B4 have disable, digital out, digital in, or analog in.
Okay, that is because the actual controller pins, the manufacturer has different options on different pins. So the one pin, like the A3, cannot have so many options, but the other ones do. So this means the Runlinc already lists what is possible on the actual physical controller pins. Okay, and it will only show what you can do, not what you can't do. Of course, then it's not going to work.
The next one, can the output be connected to other devices for easier controlling interfaces?
So can you repeat the question? I'm just trying to understand the question.
Can the output be connected to other devices for easier controlling interfaces?
Okay. So the output can be
Connect to other devices. That's what I understand.
Connected to other devices. Yes, you can. So you could have a board, and then you could have an actual output wire, like instead of the lamp, and then connect it to another device, and that device then would have an input, and that device would then maybe do something as the input. So yes, you could have, instead of a lamp, you could activate a device. And then the device can go and do something. Yeah. Any more questions?
That's it. Is there any more questions?
If we use sensor, it is an analog in, right, Myro?
A sensor such as a temperature sensor or a light sensor, or a distance sensor is an analog in, because it has voltage going in. Yeah.
Just want to understand what is mean by analog in.
Yeah, because with the analog in, it has a range of numbers going in, because that range is the voltage. Okay, any more questions?
Lots of things.
If you have any questions, straight away can on the mic. You can straight away ask also.
Yes, if anybody is on the Zoom, I'm happy to take questions. You can just say the question.
Hello, Myro.
Yes, hello.
I tried to solve the next challenge that we need to duplicate the button and the control box, but I can't solve it.
Okay. So the next challenge is just to have one button, and when you click the button, then it will turn on, and when you click it again, then it'll turn off. So the code for that, of course, is quite different. There is some guidance there on the code. So what I will do is, I won't show you straight away. What I'll do is I'll post the result. But I do want to show you also that when you do these projects, you should also remember to save. Remember last time I actually showed you the save box. So over here, if you type in light buttons, then you can press save, then it will save it as a JSON file. So please use the save and try that next extension about the one button. Okay, and what I will do is in a couple of days' time, I'll give you some time for that challenge. Then I will post in the JSON file also a solution so that you can then use the load, and you can load the JSON file and you can see then the JavaScript and try the solution for yourself. Okay, but I won't tell you because I also want some other people to try it as well. Okay, we'll see if you can find the solution. It's not too hard, so maybe try again, and otherwise yeah, I'll post the solution. A little bit like a puzzle. Okay, you need to wait
Right.
for the next edition of the newspaper to see the result. But I'll post it on the group chat. Any other questions come up? Okay, if there's no more questions, then also I'm very happy to answer questions that are also on the group chat as well. So please, that's why the group chat is there too. And sometimes if you put in a question on the group chat, then someone else may also have a solution. So it's not just me. What we want to do is to build some knowledge here in this community so they can also help each other as well on how to do these things.
Actually, we can learn on our own, right, Myro? Just copy paste the script and put it in the Runlinc online. Yes.
Like I said, if you try it, then you'll
It's
be
better.
learning, because you'll
Yes.
be learning how to do the colors, how to shift the things. Okay, and then you can try it as well. And if something is working, save it, because also if you shift something and then suddenly everything stops working, then you can load it back as well. You don't need to go and redo the thing. So that's why we use save and load. Always, if we're doing some code, it's always good to save the code. Okay. So if you're doing the picture one, you can save the picture one, get it later, or the shape one, and get it back. And always tell your students to do the same thing. Okay. Especially in this time and age of the COVID, I'm sure you tell them to save their work when they do a document. Or do they tell you, oh, it's lost? Okay.
Do it again.
I did it, but the file didn't save. No, but they need to save the file regularly. Save.
Especially with so many HTML coding. Oh, you better save first.
Okay. The same with any file.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I suppose if there's no more questions, then we can leave the session as that. Because I also have another Zoom. I'm also looking forward to a group of students that I'm doing a Zoom to, which will be in USA.
Oh, wow. You fly to USA.
I'm doing Runlinc and even the drone demonstration of Runlinc to a group in America who are training to be air cadets over there. So they're interested in the drones too.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we can conclude today's session. Thank you very much, Prof. Myro. I think all of us enjoyed today's session. And thanks for answering all the questions by the participants. And thank you again for your precious time spent with us with a great presentation. It was indeed a pleasure to have you with us today. And hope to see you again next week with a topic on traffic light. Okay, traffic light is on the 23rd July, on the next Friday, same time. everything in the same platform. Thank you very much for all of you for attending today's webinar. We really hope you have learned and enjoyed this presentation. And thank you very much.
Yes.
See you again next week. Thanks.
Thank you, Myro. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sutagar.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.